Justice is coming.
Finally figured out that Gary is like, he's just like Janet Yellen. It's like they're trained to do all this circular talk, and that's why they keep cutting him off, because they're not letting him just sit there and grandstand with all this BS circular talk, and they're shutting him off.
Has the SEC levied against digital asset companies during your tenure, sir?
I think it's probably 40 or 50.
The answer, sir, is about 55. My understanding is that the biggest crypto failure in history is probably FTX at $9 billion. Were you the chairman of the SEC when FTX collapsed?
Yes.
And how many times did you meet with FTX prior to their collapse?
I think my public record shows 2.
You met it with FTX at least twice. And arguably, the second biggest crypto failure in history was Terra Luna. Who was the chairman of the SEC when Terra Luna collapsed, sir?
We had brought...
You were, sir, reclaiming my time. You were. There are 5 members on the commission. Do you believe your speeches and interviews are to serve as the official position of the SEC?
I can only speak for myself when I'm speaking.
Again, sir, in a statement on the SEC website, you are quoted saying the Kraken staking as a service enforcement action should make clear to the marketplace that staking as a service providers must register. But again, you haven't provided any rules for how that can be done. I must remind you, your public statements are not regulations. It's not responsible to expect the American people to assume your statements are a substitute for rules.
Dictator.
Do you agree with this statement regarding the digital asset industry? The SEC needs additional congressional authorities to prevent transactions, products, and platforms from falling between the regulatory cracks.
I think that it's a largely non-compliant field.
Sir, again, I asked you to comply with my questions, and I'm asking you if you agree with that quote. And I'm going to tell you, I'm quoting you from an August 3rd, 2021 article where you, and I believe you told Congressman Hill earlier that you need congressional authority to regulate stablecoins, and stablecoins happen to be a significant percentage of the crypto market. So the question is, when were you telling the truth? To Mr. Hill or to me?
You liar.
You've got to start answering these questions in a more transparent manner, sir. Does it concern you, by the way, that your approach to the digital asset industry is actually driving this industry out of the United States?
We're trying to drive it to compliance, and if they're not complying with the laws, then they shouldn't be offering their products.
Reclaiming my time.
Yes,
Madam Chair,
There are
I would
no
like
laws
to
on
enter
it
into
yet.
the record this Wall Street Journal article from
Comply
April
with laws that
14,
don't exist?
2023.
What an
Detailing
idiot.
China's ploy to open its banking system to crypto firms in an effort to seize an opportunity created by our hostile regulatory environment, which, Mr. Chair, you're a big part of.
Without
Look,
objection.
Chair Gensler, FTX was domiciled abroad and so is Binance, yet American consumers still had access to both. You can't really think that pushing this industry abroad is going to protect American consumers when it hasn't several times in the past on your watch. You say the crypto market is rife with non-compliance. However, existing SEC rules make no sense for blockchain-based companies, and following them would actually kill these businesses. Your regulatory style lacks flexibility and nuance, and as a result, you've been an incompetent cop on the beat, doing nothing to protect everyday Americans and pushing American firms into the hands of the CCP. Your intention to
Hallelujah.
work against SEC mission and put American investors in harm's way has been made very apparent, sir. It's been a year and a half since you've appeared before this committee. You need to answer to Congress about the issues that you've had with the SEC staff union, the work environment you've cultivated at the SEC that's led to hemorrhaging of senior staff,
Everyone's
the intellectual
leaving.
inconsistency of your regulatory treatment towards Bitcoin spot ETFs, and your politicization of capital formation opportunities
Time's
for your treatment
expired.
of certain SPACs. And that's just to name a few. Thank you. I yield.
Justice
Hey,
is
literally
coming, Gary.
The SEC of helping the CCP.
It's Chinese Communist
Wow.
Party.
And then we've got this. Here's Patrick McHenry. Let me hit the old refresh button on him. Here we go. I'm going to give it all to you.
We haven't heard this. Good.
Recognize, how would you categorize these then?
Look, I think that the general sweep of what Congress did, not just in the 30s, but as amended.
I'm asking you, sitting in your chair now, to make an assessment under the laws as exist, is either a commodity or a security?
Without speaking to anyone,
I know you've
okay,
repeatedly
it's
said
a
you're not
matter
going to
of
speak to
facts.
one, except you've spoken to one, Bitcoin. So I'm asking you to speak to a second one, the second largest market cap here.
And speaking to the tokens, there's 10 to 12,000. If there's a group of entrepreneurs,
I'm asking about
the
one.
public
Right.
is anticipating a profit based on the.
I'm asking you a specific question, Chair
Circle
Gensler.
talk.
I said this in private. This should be no shock to you. I'm asking this question: is Ether a commodity or a security?
And again, it depends on the facts and the law. And if there's a group of
I'm
individuals,
asking about the facts and the law sitting in your seat and the judgment you are making.
And so, Mr. Chair, I think you would not want me to prejudge because I'm also.
But you have prejudged.
Yeah, what
on
a
this.
jackass.
You've taken 50 enforcement actions. We're finding out as we go, as you file suit, as people get Wells notices on
Amazing.
what is the security in your view, in your agency's view. I'm asking you a very simple question about the second largest digital asset. What is your view?
And my view is if there's a group of individuals in the middle that the public is
All right, so let me just ask a
based
second
on those
question then.
efforts.
Do you think it serves the market for an object to be viewed by the commodities regulator as a commodity and the securities regulator to be viewed as a security? Do you think that provides safety and soundness for the product? Do you think it provides consumer protection? Do you think it serves the value of innovation? I think no should be a very simple answer for you here.
I think
That uncertainty is bad, is it not?
And I think that Congress has said that there's one agency, the Securities and Exchange Commission, under this
And
committee.
you won't answer my question, and you're the head of that agency. So give me a break. Come on.
No
I'm
kidding.
answering it in the generic because you would not want me to speak about any one set of facts and circumstance.
Okay, so, but you've already
Really?
spoken. Have you said anything about Bitcoin?
My predecessors and the agency itself has spoken to them.
Okay, but you're not willing to do the same about Ether. Okay, so let me just step back. There's a lack of clarity here in the marketplace. Can you at least agree to that?
I think that the clarity is there. The law is clear that
All right.
there's a
So
group
let
of
me
individuals that rely
be explicit about this. The market doesn't see it. Your regulatory actions and the CFTC's regulatory actions say that there's a great deal of uncertainty here. It is the intention of this committee to fix that uncertainty and actually provide a sound legal basis for this.
Right on.
Wow.
Joe Biden on
It was pretty
steroids.
good. And then here's one of the guys going at him. How he won't. This is Representative Hazinga. How he won't give them the FTX documents.
I believe in congressional oversight, and I
Now,
know.
just a refresher here, folks. This guy was meeting with FTX before and planning with FTX. SEC and the CFTC were planning with FTX. They weren't just having meetings, they were planning with FTX before the FTX collapsed. And then we later found out FTX was using freaking QuickBooks. And this guy couldn't even spot the fraud, which makes me wonder what he really knew and what the purpose of FTX really was.
Wow.
Yeah.
I believe in congressional oversight, and I know
Okay,
the states
all right,
work-
moving on. I'm taking that as a no. So the
I'm gonna
climate
stop this.
disclosure request, you